All right, get this going here right quick. Oh yeah, everything connected great this time. All right, sirs, are you ready, Jorge?
Always.
All right, let me bring in.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a special episode of the Lyne't Gray Show, hosted by myself, Jorge Fuller, or Fuller for the People LLC, or Jorge Fuller for the People when running for office. I am always appreciative of KUAW, which stands for Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom, our global local LPFM radio station here in Kansas City, Missouri, the very first one to be global. So I always love the fact that we were able to be on tonight. I have a special guest, and I just want y'all to know this guest has been doing the work. Like you can see it, he done lost like 80 pounds. Like no joke, no cap. He done lost a whole lot of weight doing the work. So I got to make sure we talk about this young man. Back in 2020, when I was running for office, he was running right next to me. So I would love to make sure we bring that up. Kevin Graves, can you tell the people who you are, what you represent, and how long you've been doing the work?
First of all, I appreciate you for inviting me to your show. Man, that's a question. How long have I been doing the work? Honestly, we can say we start back to 2018. My very first internship with Randy Dunn, who's now the Democratic Party chairman. Then they interned with Councilman Brandon Ellison when he was a state rep. Then coming together and saying, "Hey, I think the vision of the district needs to be shown, needs to be heard." So running in 2020, coming in second, now retrying in 2022. And you're not lying, I've lost a lot of weight because this walking these hills around this neighborhood is not no joke. But a little bit about myself. I'm born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri. My mother's an educator. My father's a maintenance worker. I've loved the city. I've bled for the city. This represents the city. When I went to both of my HBCUs, Tennessee State University and Lincoln, I, honestly, memories I'm running, honestly, is for the next generation. I tell people that all the time. It's not for me. It's not for what I want to do. It's not any political ambition. It's to make sure that the next generation of my nieces, my nephews, my little cousins, and one day when I have a child, make sure that their future is better than the ones I have. So honestly, man, that's what I'm running for. If you've ever seen my flyer, I'm pretty sure you have because we've been walking everywhere. But it's simple. We want to fix our education system. We want to make sure that it's equal across the board when it comes to jobs, creations, and we want to make sure that our family and our people have actually have opportunity in life to be successful.
I'll say, and you're making some good mentions. Let's start back to where you mentioned. You said you went to two HBCUs.
Yes,
How does
sir.
that experience and how did that impact your mind frame to why you're wanting to run?
So this is originally what happened. I graduated in 2014 from Northeast High School, and I originally wanted to go on Ivy League. I'm not gonna lie to you, I did. That was my goal. That was what I wanted to do. I was going to all the interviews. My mother actually is the one who was like, "Hey, what about HBCU?" And I was like, "HBCU?" It's like I don't know. That's gonna give me what I need to get to. And honestly, man, that was the greatest decision I've ever made in my life. I got a call from Tennessee State. They was like, "Hey, we heard you do debate. Come try out for us." It was like 2 days after my birthday, and I went down there. I think I did a good job. They gave me the scholarship, so obviously I did good enough. I enjoyed myself there. I wasn't able to finish at Tennessee State because I decided to party too much. But man, the experience I learned from there, the connections I learned, and actually how to truly be a black man in America, that's what I learned from there. how connections is important, how we develop each other, how we actually just, no matter what our religion is, we're both Black in America and we can do it. So leaving there, then going to LU, and it was pretty much the same, man. It's crazy. 2 different states, but 2 different universities, but the love was there, the culture was there. It showed me that, hey, that I can make a change in America. I can make a change in Kansas City. I can make a change in the 22nd district. I can make a change. And so that they gave me the foundation, and I want to say really the rocket booster on my back that let me know that, hey, I can do this.
So for those that are listening in, I know this is like not even 2 minutes into the show. You are already getting hit with the heavy hitters. And I want you all to know this is KUAW Graves. He's running for 22nd district. Now, are you running for Missouri House of Rep or are you running for the U.S. representative seat?
I'm running for Missouri House Rep. Okay. So I'll be working at the city.
All right, because most people don't know. Like, we gotta make sure we break it down. When I tell people I ran for office, right, they're like, "What office?" And we don't know what district is. So, can you tell them what district? What is your boundary lines that you're working in? And if you want to promote yourself a little bit more, because I already got down real humble. All right, we got that real. That now I want you to go ahead and toot some horns because you own this show for a reason.
I got you. So pretty much, our boundaries a little bit changed from the last election, but the majority of the boundaries is for about Tracy, over to Nolan Road, from I want to say 35th Street to about 52nd. That's kind of the boundaries of the district. It's about 45,000 people in the district, 15,000 are registered. And that's one of the things I worked on, honestly, from last election, this election, is get more people registered. And that's one of the things we've done this election is, hey, that even though the only 5,000 people voted in the last primary, I want 10,000 this time. I want 12,000. We've been going door to door to talk to the people that hasn't voted in 6 years. Like, my whole thing is that if you look at our flyer, it's our district, our vision. And that's not just a catchy slogan or anything like that. That's something we actually believe in. I've spent the last 4 years talking to teachers, talking to small business owners, talking to nurses, talking to doctors, talking to students, figuring out, hey, what's best for you? How can I help you out? How can I get you? How can I improve your life? How can I make sure your next generation, your next family members is great? And so, like, when I actually say that as our district, our vision, that's something I truly believe in, because that's actually what the people told me that they wanted, the things they really needed. As you can see, my shirt, the future is now. One of the reasons we came up with this slogan is that we honestly believe that, hey, the future is now. Like, don't get me wrong, it's great to learn from our past. It's great to have elders there, but it comes a time. It comes a time that, hey, the next generation has to take over. They have to take over. They have to go for it. They have to take the mantle. They have to go for it. And I think right now is that time. As I told a guy today, I said, hey, I don't think this campaign I'm running is a moment. This is a movement. This is the movement for the next generation to take over, the next generation to say, hey, we appreciate the lessons you gave us. We're going to take it. We're going to develop it, but we're going to make it even better. We're going to lead us into the next generation, next century.
So I just want to reiterate, this young man graduated from Northeast High School, Kansas City Public Schools High School in 2014, right? 2014. Yes, what is that? Almost 7 years ago, a little bit. Yeah,
almost eight.
Yeah, almost eight. I was like, maybe feel a little old when I'm thinking about it. Yeah. So in that 8 years' time, he's gone to school to 2 different HBCUs, learned his lesson from, understanding what you're doing in college to actually engage in one, to actually get the academic rigor and focus in on that. And then not only that, took time to be interns for 2 phenomenal representatives, Randy Dunn and Brandon Ellington. Both of them are my guys. Randy Dunn was one of my mentors when I had my internship with the city. Okay. So that was well back in like 2011. I literally go back that far. So just being able to see him, and he's still involved. He's still out in the community. Right. And so Brandon Ellington just hosted an event this past Saturday, Movie in the Park, and before that, it was a car show over at.
I think it was Smoke Your Tires, Not Your Homies.
Right, Smoke Your Tires, Not Your Homies car show over at the Air Shrine off of 31st or Linwood and Paseo, for those that don't know. To actually connect with the community, that is truly something we have to think about. Connecting with your community, what Kevon has already stated he's talked to teachers, he's talked to educators beyond that, he's talked to parents, he's talked to students, he's talked to neighbors, he's talked and knocked on doors and got their input. So before deciding to make the actual moniker of our district, our vision, he made sure he was representing us, right? Unfortunately, you're not in my district, or else you have my vote. That's real easy. You already knew that back in the day.
I know.
When I say you all have to think, taking the opportunity for the last 2 years to focus in on ensuring that people have the opportunity to get the right to vote and actually utilize it and act on it. I know when I was running my campaign, I talked to someone that never voted one time in their life. I talked to individuals that were no joke, no cap. And I mean, like, person is about a generation over me, like a good 22, maybe 2 decades above me, and never voted a day in their life. And the one statement that I got was that they ain't here to listen to me. So I ain't even gonna worry about it. Why am I using this to voice my opinion or voice anything when they're not listening to me? So what is one thing that you've heard from your constituents that you gotta take with you as you go into office?
Don't forget about us. That's the main thing I heard. Hey, if you get in office, or when you get in office, don't forget about us. Don't forget your promises. Don't forget your actual drive. Don't forget the vision that we talked about. And that's something I cannot get rid of, and I don't want to. That's something that drives me every day. I can only say that this campaign is personally me, not even the campaign, but personally myself. I've handed out over 3,500 flyers from my hand to individuals. That personally myself. And that is, I promise you, man, that has been the main message. Just don't forget about us. You know what I'm saying? When you get up there, don't become bougie. Don't become just a normal politician. Be who you said, be who we believe you to be. You know what I'm saying? When I'm talking to, when I'm sitting out on their front porch, when they dog, I kind of get scared of their dog because they feel like their dog gonna bite you. But I'm still talking to them. Like the whole message was, hey, don't forget about us. Don't forget about who you are. Don't forget about us. And I promise all of them, I say, hey, I'm not going to forget about anything. Like, everything we've talked about, everything you guys say your problem is, I'm here to address it. One of the things that we did, what I've done, and not just me, but my family, is that we started a nonprofit organization called the Richard Robinson Foundation. I think it's 3 years in now, if I remember correctly. There's been a lot of work with it. But a couple of things we've done is give personal hygiene giveaways. We've done 2 neighborhood cleanups, and we have another one this Saturday. We have given $500 scholarships to 2 ladies this year who's going off to college, one from Central, one from Northeast. So I don't just talk about things I want to do. I actually am about it. I put forth the effort to it. And so I know when I become state rep, it's going to multiply even more because I'm there with the money that I'm there. I'm driving. I'm going to make sure. I don't care if I have to knock on every Republican door, every Democratic door. I don't care. We're going to get things done here. We're going to get things done in Jeff City because I've learned from 2 great gentlemen how to get things done, taking them, kind of putting my own little spin on it. So that's one thing, like I said, I ain't taking away is I ain't going to forget who I am. I'm not going to forget people. I'm not going to forget my district.
So we 15 minutes in, and I'm like, legit, we're only 15 minutes in, and that just for those that are watching, it took 15 minutes that you could have changed your mind and made sure you voted for this young man. Only 15 minutes. Ain't even did a full hour, ain't did anything else. He's not coming at you with different statistics or numbers that don't make any, no, never mind to you. He's coming at you with real honesty, humility. Some of the things I've already said, I can see that he takes advice from talking with his mother and taking the opportunity to go to look at the HBCU route versus just going to a PWI or an Ivy League where we think prestige comes with the name, but not prestige comes with the actual academics. Being humble enough to admit and make a mistake and learn from it. Like if you're looking for qualities of someone to lead, you have to look at someone that is willing to learn from the mistakes because there's no guarantee that you're going to be perfect. I don't want you to go into office and be perfect. I can care less if you're Democratic or Republican. You haven't even heard me ask that question. The reason for that is because it's the same bird, no matter what, it's the same bird. So if you look at it's the same. So being willing to actually navigate that space and make change, to not only be able to say, okay, I'm gonna do things in a capacity where I've learned from others, but also I'm going to put my own wisdom into it so that I can ensure my success, to ensure that I don't forget about the people that voted me in, the constituents.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I did as Fuller for the People, as you can see, I still rep that stuff real hard. I'm still working. People ask me, when are you running again? When are you running again? I'm like, look, first off, I'm building a team of folks. Second off, I'm running in about 4 years. And so now I'm down to maybe 3. I'm working with
Right.
different organizations and building up that capacity. The real realization that I have is that I'm a grassroots person. And so you saying that you gave out how many flyers from your hand?
Personally, for my hand it's 3,500, but the campaign I think we're about 5,000 in with 2 weeks left to go. So, and the plan is honestly every day we've had about 300 flyers out. So I get out there around like 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I'm done about 12, 1 o'clock, somewhere around there.
So you're done about 12 in the afternoon, just 4
Yeah,
hours?
about four,
Like,
four. I try to do 4 to 4.5 hours. Me just going to the door, knocking people, knocking on doors.
hey, look, that's how you gonna win. I mean, in 4 hours, the 300 flyers is going out in 4 hours.
Right.
Just know he's built a team of people that are out here volunteering. So, can you tell people how to support your campaign? Because you say you got 2 weeks, right?
Yep.
But in 2 weeks, you already are saying that you're going to do a neighborhood cleanup this weekend. So,
Yep.
that's a lot. So 2 weeks, how can people support you for the next 2 weeks?
The way people can support me honestly is, and I say this, and I don't mean to sound crazy about the situation, but honestly, spread the word. Let your mother know. Let your grandmother know. Let your little cousin know. Let them know that hey, you believe in the gentleman. You believe in this young man. I'm saying this in third person, but you got what I'm saying though. But that you believe in not really in me, but in the message, in the movement that we're doing. Just spread the word honestly, because what's going to actually determine who wins this election is not yard signs. It's not even me keep going door to door. It's going to be turnout. That's what's going to really determine it. Like I told you, last primary we ran, only it was about 5,000 people voted. About 5,000 out of 15,000. Like that is a huge gap. So honestly, like I said, what's gonna make the difference is the turnout. Is getting people to come out, getting people actually to show support, people, and actually getting people to actually believe in the movement. But to piggyback off of what I was talking about earlier, not that I just went to Northeast, but I went to ACE. I went to J. I was actually the last class of JS Chick, to be honest. So that's kind
Okay.
of a little feather in my cap. But one of the things I learned from both of those wonderful schools was Sankofa. And it's something they always taught us about there. It's the bird that is walking forward but looking back. And that's one of the things I've always holded, because it's walking forward to his past, but looking back walking forward to his future, but looking back at his past. So pretty much to know and actually remember, hey, this is what happened. So let me not repeat the mistakes that happened, so my future can be brighter. And that's kind of the campaign. It was one of the things we're doing. Like I said, I've always told everyone, even people I ran against, hey, after I win, my door is open. I told everyone that I've talked to, hey, my door is open. I don't care if you like me, you vote for me, you don't. My door is open. If you have a problem, concern, anything, my door is open. Just come talk to me. I'm not going to be the person that shut my door like, no, I don't want to talk to you. No. I'm here to represent you. So come talk to me. Whatever you got to say. If you can say I'm the worst representative ever and it's my second day in office, that's fine. Come on, let's go out to lunch and let's talk about it. Let's see if I can change your mind 1 second. So
I
that's
assume you're not gonna get the worst anything 2 days in. Oh, that's
you'll
not
be
an accurate
surprised.
representation. It's not an
You'll
accurate
be you.
depiction. I'm not surprised. I'm just saying not accurate. If he was able to come in and change things in 2 days, then he should have been there 4 or 5 years ago. You feel me? Like the first
Yeah.
time he ran for office. If it only took 2 days to get the change to happen. And I say this because as someone that has been in politics, and I tell people I'm not a politician, my first thing is going to be I'm an educator. That's what I want to do. I'm here to educate you. The reason why your voice is so important is because it decides everything else that it comes back to you. It is truly karma in activity, right? When you don't vote, you use your voice for the other person. You use your voice for the person that wins regardless, because if you don't show up, that person that you wanted to win didn't get the vote. So I encourage you and I implore you to go out to the election boards on what day? What day is the vote?
August 2nd. August 2nd. 2 weeks from now.
Ooh, right in the midst of Leo season. Go out on
Right.
a Tuesday. You know, hey, listen, Leo rock to the day I died, day one, baby. Go out on Tuesday, August 2nd, and vote and make sure that you go in early. Go in early, don't have to wait in line. If you're at work and they say, oh, you can't vote, just remember, it is illegal for them to keep you from going to vote. So go vote. They can't
Absolutely.
fire you. Don't use that excuse. Go if you gotta leave work to go vote, go vote. People, we have to make sure that we take the opportunity because what is happening in the house? What is one thing that you've noticed that's occurred recently in the house that is impacting the people's rights to vote?
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna get to your question, but one thing that actually has kind of impacted the house, I think it's kind of been negative for our people, is they got rid of the Urban Issue Committee. And that was a great committee for African Americans to actually get things done for the committee. But another thing that in the House that has kind of been affecting people vote is the redistrict, the what's it called, gerrymandering. I can't kind of talk right now. I kind of been walking. Yeah, appreciate you. But that's one thing that's kind of been affecting people's votes and affecting how people actually get elected to office. Another thing they've been doing is trying to limit it the way people can do early voting. People can have them polling closer to elderly people. There's a lot of things happening in the House right now, and not just Missouri House, but U.S., but specifically Missouri House as it being the red state. That they're doing a lot of slide things to, you know what I'm saying, to miniature people's ability to vote. And that's one thing I'm not gonna allow happen.
I'll say, and I'll say one thing that I also noticed that it happened here as well is the voter ID mandate, right? So
Right.
they passed the bill that you have to have a form of ID to go and vote. Then you also have to have been active as a voter to go and vote. So if you haven't been active in the last couple of elections, more likely you're not registered to vote anymore. And you can register the day of, but that's more time for you to go vote. So go
Right.
out and make sure that you register. It's easy. Check in. All you got to do is go to the Board of Elections and say, I want to
Board of
register.
Elections. Yeah, it's a board of. There's a couple of them. So one of the board of elections is in Union Station. There's another board of election in Independence, and I can't think of the other one. The third one is kind of close in the area, but that's the main two.
Right, and here's Lilo, everybody. Y'all know y'all must have missed us because she ain't been on the show forever. Yeah, but go to these board of elections, different locations. Heck, you can actually just look up voter registration. I think even Facebook was doing it. You can just click the link. You can do it online. So there's no reason for you to say, hey, I don't have the ability to vote because I'm not registered. Get registered. If you are an ex-felon, and that means you served your time, you finish your parole, you have the right to vote. Unless you did something that impacted your right to vote, i.e., tampering with the votes. If you haven't tampered with any elections or votes, you have the right to vote. I know they tell you that you don't have that right. And I remember talking to a friend of mine, and I'm like, dude, you know you had a right to vote? He was like, you lying. Legit, have the right to vote. And he was like, man, the whole hood needs to know this. And I'm like, anytime you want me to come talk to him, let me know. Because I think we have forgotten there's a generation of people through mass incarceration that continue to suffer impacts. So these are systemic issues where they don't believe they have a voice or a right to vote because that's what they were told. They said that once you get locked up, once you go a part of the system, you lose your ability to speak. In reality, that is false. If you've done your time, and that means including your sentencing and your parole, and you have not gotten any more trouble, you have the right to vote unless you did something that was tampering with an election or votes. If you ain't did nothing like that, guess what? You should be voting. You should register to vote. So go and challenge that. If you think you can't go vote, go find out. Go to the Board of Elections and let them know that you would like to try to register to vote. If you have troubles, reach out to an elected official. There is no reason that we have all these people in office. They got there for, in some case, some capacity, and you are getting hurt. So I say that just to give encouragement. I shout out to my peoples. He know who he is. When I told him, he was like, "Man, you man," and I'm just saying, It was a mysterious thing. One thing I will say that I got after running an election, I met with a group of individuals and we just talked what politics looks like. I was a presenter, and they said there's no young people that are willing to be in elected offices, no young people running for office. And I said, what do you mean? I was the youngest one on the panel. So I know for sure I ran. And I know somebody else that ran. Can you tell the people how old you are?
I am 26 years old. I actually did a little research the other day. After being elected, I believe I'll be the youngest person in the state capitol building as a state rep after I'm elected. So young people are actually involved in the election, are involved in politics. So all we need is the opportunity and chance to prove that, hey, we got it.
And I hate that's the stigma. And I know we have a traditional guard or individuals that will give you a piece of paper and say this is how you should vote. And the
Right.
reality is no one thinks for themselves, and you got to think for yourself and know who you're voting for. You can go onto the well, I'm about to forget the website, and I want to say Board of Elections website as well, but there's another one, Ballotpedia,
Yeah.
and you can look up who is all on the ballot, and you can from that. So in the next 2 weeks, look up who's on the ballot, look at what their stands are, go to their websites, go to their Facebook pages, learn who's going to be present and representing you, and then write out your card. You can do a dummy voter card. You can actually vote before you go vote. Take that card with you, go inside, get the pencil and paper one, because I tell people that's a little bit more accurate than the computerized one. Get the
Absolutely.
pencil paper, bubble that sucker in the way you got it. Match it left to right. That's all you got to do. And I promise you, it will take you 5 minutes to vote because you've
Right.
done your research. That means that you don't have to worry about losing your job because you're going to get out of line and be done voting within 5 minutes and you back at work. You can also look at your polling place and you can see if there's a polling place close to your job. It doesn't have to be the one that's closest to your house. You can go to another polling place. People fail to realize that they can look you up if you have your voter ID and you
Right.
say, I'm here. Like, you don't have to go all the way home. Now, if you trying to get a little bit of extra time for your lunch break, go ahead, go home. But I would tell you, I get up and at 7 in the morning, I go run down to my little location. It's a church. It used to be the VFW right down the street from my house. I will get in line and I will be in line for maybe 2.5 minutes because ain't nobody else in line. I
Right.
check my ID. Next thing I know, I'm done voting and I'm on my way to work. Ain't even late. I spend less time in my voter line than I did in rush hour traffic. So I'm eliminating excuses. Uh, so we've gotten everything. We've gotten to know you. We kind of got to know the phrases that you use. And for those that don't know, our district, our vision, and the future is now. So when
Yep.
you see that, we know we're talking about this young man who is 26 years old, could potentially be the youngest House representative for the state of Missouri, located in Jeff City.
Yep.
What else can you like? Can you tell them the three pillars that you stand on? What are the three things that you know out the gate? This is what you're gonna do.
So I actually have a motto in life, and I've filled it out a bunch of times. My pillars actually in life is faith, family, and duty. Them are my three. My faith is going to determine what I vote for, and that's my faith in Christ, my faith in humanity, faith in my people, my constituents, my family. I treat my family as I treat my community. My community is my family. So I wouldn't do anything that would hurt my family, which means I wouldn't do anything to hurt my community. And it's my duty to protect you guys, my duty to guide the right direction, my duty to make sure that everybody is actually prospering in life. So them are my three pillars: my faith, family, and duty.
Okay. And so I'm gonna ask this question and then I may have another one to follow up. What is one challenge that you continue to face as you run for office?
What we just talked about, felons not knowing they can vote. I promise you, definitely within the 22nd district, I get that so much. Hey, I'm a felon, bro. I can't vote. Hey, I'm a felon. I can't do this. Hey, I'm a felon. I can't do this. I'm like, are you done? Like, have you served everything, probation, done everything good like that? Yeah. Well, you know me, I'm a felon. I can't vote. No, you can. And I promise you, that is the number one thing I face talking to people is that, hey, I'm a felon and I can't vote. Or I hear another thing is it's definitely with my age, they're gonna put in who they want to. My vote doesn't count. My vote doesn't matter. And I swear it drives me insane. Cause I'm like, I'm your age. I'm looking you dead in your eye, telling you, hey, if I can be there, you can be there. If I want to change things, you can help me change it. Like, it's those two things: felons not knowing their right to vote, and young people just giving up because they don't believe that they actually have a chance to change anything. Those two things has been driving me crazy in this election.
And I mean, and you're speaking the truth. And what I get, I would tell people my first election, or just going through my first campaign, I didn't get on the ballot because it was the midst of COVID, and people was like, "No, don't come at me with no dang clipboard. Like,
Right.
I don't know where that pen been. I don't know where you been. So go on." Like, I'm like, all right, understandable. I did get people to actually fill it out. I got a couple of pages filled. I was like, oh, I'm done. I cracked a couple. I was good to go. I think I got about 500 signatures. I needed 15.
Right.
But at the time, knocking on doors, people ain't opening. Like it wasn't moving. But I also was like, you know what? If this is not successful, let me pivot. And I ran as a write-in candidate. So I tell people, even if you think you don't have someone, you put someone in place.
Right.
You can figure out who is running as a write-in candidate. You can write in their name. My name is spelled Jorge. Fuller for the people. That is Jorge Fuller for the people for a reason. Spell it correctly. I don't care how you pronounce it because most people call me George anyway. I grew up with that. My mom calls me both, so I go through that understanding, but spell my name correctly. So it is imperative that people understand that you can put someone else in space because you don't like the options that you have in front of you. You don't have to just go with, oh, these are the two options and that's it. They're gonna put whoever they want in that space. They are you.
Right.
Your lack of voting puts that person in that space. Your vote puts the person that you want in that space. Just because it doesn't win the first time, don't mean it won't win the second or third time. And understand that incumbents are there. Who is your incumbent that you're running against?
I believe her name is Miss Yolanda Young.
Okay.
That's her name.
I would say, and how long has she been in office?
3 years now she's been in office.
Okay. So she's about to finish her second term. So you're not really running against her. If she's finishing the second term, I think it's 2 terms in House, and then you have to move up or move over.
No, you can do 4 terms in the House. 8 years total you can do.
Okay. You sure? Yeah. Okay, you might be right.
Yeah.
You might be right. And you're gonna be the one running for it. So I will assume that you're right. So I will say that within the 3 years that this person is there, I would tell you, if you don't win, continue to do what you're doing. But as you do it, can you tell people how to follow you? Because I know you say you have a nonprofit, and is that Richard Robinson Foundation?
Yep.
Okay, so I need you to plug that foundation and how to follow your social media, whatever social medias you have, plug all of them.
Got you. So the Richard Robinson Foundation is we don't have the website yet, but we have a Facebook link. All you gotta do is literally type in Rich Robinson Foundation on Facebook, and you'll find us there. For me personally, it's KUAW Graves 01 on Facebook. It's KUAW_Graves on what is that, Instagram, KUAW_Graves on Snapchat, and KUAW_Graves on Twitter. I pretty much keep the same handle all across the board. But honestly, that's one of the things I wanted some people to make sure that after I really don't consider that last election a loss. I consider it a lesson. And after that lesson, I wanted people to make sure that they know that, hey, I wasn't just going to neighborhoods and passing out food and doing all these things because of election was happening. This is something I truly believe in, helping the community. And that's one of the reasons why the foundation, I started moving the foundation a little bit faster. That's one of the reasons why I've been continuing going to helping out other churches and passing out food. This election, just because I'm running for office doesn't mean I'm doing things for the office. I want the community to thrive. I want the community to survive. It's not going to change no matter win or lose. But I'm putting in the air though. With God blessing, I will win.
I'll say we're gonna say when you win. And I say this because people think that I do service. I do service when I can. Trust me, if you see me out, I'm probably working. Like there's not a time that I don't work. I think next week is gonna be the only week that I don't work, probably for the next few months. So I literally was like, hey, I'm taking off from my birthday to my wife's birthday. So we gonna be doing nothing. Don't ask, don't call me, don't message. You can send whatever you want to send. I ain't answering. So I will say, when you say that you're out working, I am someone that has witnessed this young man come up, be in spaces for community events, that has been there to pass out food, that has been there to support initiatives, that even as his name is not the number one name on it, he still showed up. And you got to understand, you want someone that's not out here on social media. You may not see, like, his Snapchats is not going to have a huge timeline of him walking to every single door. He probably ain't even pulling his phone out but once to see what time it was in that whole process. If you see him working, I ask that you take pictures, catch him in the act of the positive things that he's doing, and publicize it. Put it on those pages. Kevon Graves for the U.S., right? That's your main page for your political page. Go there, and I need people to catch this, put pictures on, put descriptions out there, and then not only that, go to that button that says, hey, invite others. And invite your friends. Like, it's that simple. We want to be social media famous, but we don't understand the basics of just inviting people to share in. Like, tap in. Lilo.
That's one
Like,
of the things. That's one of the things this campaign that I stressed with my family member, because it was like, "Hey, you didn't take a lot of pictures of yourself last. Like, take more pictures." I'm like, I'm just not that person. I'm not the person that's gonna be like, "Hey, I'm doing this. Hey, I'm doing that." No, I'm about to work. I'm about to be on the ground. Like, if someone catch me in action, that's great. I can take pictures of other people that's helping me, no problem. But taking pictures of myself, that's just not me. I'd rather you actually see my face, up the person, know that I'm talking to you and speaking directly to you about you.
and I will say, that's one thing we have to both get over. That's a growth that we have to do, because if ain't nobody else there to witnesses, I gotta capture it for myself. But I will say, the thing that you need to make sure that people are able to actively participate in this support is making sure that they show support by inviting others to follow you, endorsing you, encouraging you, funding you, right? So let's get to that. We ain't even talked about funding you, because you've been doing a lot of grassroots. So tell them how they can support you financially, because 8 to 12 every day is 4 hours, and I think you have a job as well that you're working that's in the evenings too. So can y'all help my young man out here financially on this tip? Because I don't think y'all understand, it costs money to run an election. It even costs money when you're not actually using money. And what I mean by that, those flyers ain't free. I don't know how you get them if you get them for free, but they ain't free. And so how do people help fundraise, or actually how can they support you financially for this campaign?
Oh, one of the things you can do is go to my website, votekevongraves.com. I believe somewhere like in the middle of the page, it has a donate button. Hey, donate money. It goes to my Act Blue account, and donate as much as you want to. If you want to donate $1, if you want to donate $100, I take whatever I can get. Because honestly, this whole campaign has been through my pockets. That's honestly, it's kind of how the way it works right now is I work to pay my bills, then the rest of the money I have is for the campaign. So like that's pretty much how like this campaign has been fun. But hey, if anybody wants to support, go to votekevongraves.com. Go there, donate. If you want to, hey, send a check. I definitely will take that too.
And I'll say this: most people don't know that if you're donating money to campaigns, that is a tax write-off. So, go ahead and get you some tax write-offs happening, because financially, I gotta make sure I tell people financial things, because part of Fuller for the People want to make sure that you have some money in your pocket. As my dad always said, I need some money in my pocket. Take the opportunity to get the tax write-offs that you can. Support nonprofits. You have the Richard Robertson Foundation that will be supporting. He's giving out scholarships. He's doing neighborhood cleanups, and he's also making sure there's hygiene kits to go out to those that are in need. It is 100+ degrees outside. If this person is passing out a hygiene kit, I promise you, we all appreciate you for passing out this hygiene kit, because I can guarantee Somebody's walking around smelling like who what done did it, as Sergeant Davis used to tell us in high school. Somebody needed some help, and I'm glad that you were willing to help them out. The other part is these neighborhood cleanups. He is in, and I'm going to make sure I quote this correctly, 33rd Street or 35th Street to 52nd Street, Tracy to Nolan. That is a huge quadrant of the east side of Kansas City. And I will say that is the straight hood of Kansas City. Even if you go to Nolan Road, it gets that way. So as we go through and consider that he is representing some of the lowest income populations that is there, he's not asking them for money when he knocks on their door. He's asking for support. He's asking for encouragement. When they say, don't forget about us, that means that they know they're encouraging and supporting this young man. They want him in office. So when I say, can you all help this campaign? $5 gift. The organization Give says if we can get 10 people to give $10 a month, just 10 people to give $10 a month, look at the financial impact that would be. So if I can get 10 people to give $10, that is $100. That is at least a ream of paper and maybe some ink so he can print out some more flyers to go knock on the door and give it out.
I'm going to say $100, that gets me about, I don't know, about 500 flyers. So yeah, that'll help.
I know how much a ream of paper costs. As an educator in me. So I tell people Fuller for the People stands on educational prosperity, economic progress, and civic relationships. Educational prosperity means that we are going to teach you. You're going to learn. I'm going to give you those nuggets. It is free of charge. I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to say, I didn't learn that in school, but I learned it somewhere. And I want to make sure that you know that the four walls of a school building is not the only place you need to learn it. The other part is that economic progress, we got to help support each other. That means supporting the organizations like the Richard Robertson Foundation, supporting organizations like GIFT, supporting organizations like KUAW, Hit, Strong Hit. If you ain't heard it, donate some money. KUAW needs money because I said they need money. And you don't see that Mr. Walker is here at 8 o'clock on Tuesday evening, right? And he's in the Du Bois Learning Center. So you can donate two ways. You can donate to the Du Bois Learning Center and you can donate to KUAW. That will help in efforts that you made. And if you ain't walked in, you need to walk in. I bet you'll find out how that helps as soon as you walk in through the Du Bois Learning Center. That is a place that is there in our community. I suggest that, KUAW, I'm going to tell you, if you can host an event there, go ahead and reach out to Tamara Sykes, or you can reach out to Mr. Walker, and he can help you put that on, because I think that's an opportunity to say, look, I'm dead smack dab in this community. I ain't playing this game. I don't question what I'm here for, because that's this community we have. As we get through it, KUAW is located in the Du Bois Learning Center. Stands for knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. I understand that wisdom comes through. There's some issues here. And if you're not tuning in, you can tune in 7 days a week, almost 24 hours a day. If you actually go on the YouTube page, you can watch all the other stuff. This is not the only content. Shout out to the Inkwell with my guy Tyrone Gathers, who is an educator, who is an author, who is a profound poet as well. He has been doing the work, and he has supported my campaign when I was running for office. He did what I'm doing now, bringing me on to hold a conversation. Shout out to Stacy Lake, who is running for Jackson County Executive Legislator. She's running against Frank White. I suggest that you look up Stacy Lake. I am going to strongly say that if you have somebody that's wanting to put a cap on your property taxes, you might want to give them a good listen, because if you are like me and anyone else that lived in the area of 35th to 52nd Street, Tracy to Nolan Road, or Jackson County as a whole, and you got your tax property assessment and it went up, and the value of your house didn't go up, we got some issues and you need to look at and you need to look in. And I'm saying this financially, that's the economic prosperity here, because you need to make sure that your money is accounted for, because it is your money. The last part is these civic relationships. So KUAW, can you tell them how to connect with you if they want to connect with you in person?
It's pretty simple. Number one, you can hit me up on the social medias I've already named. If you see any of my flyers, my phone number and email is there. That's not like a business phone number. That is my actual phone number. That's one thing I tell my constituents. I'm not going to be the person like, hey, I can get to you later or give you a fake number. No, that is my phone number. If you need to call me, text me and say, hey, I need you at this place. I need you here. I'm there. You need to email me. It's Kevon_Graves@yahoo.com. Like I said, all the social media is where you can contact me. And listen to me, if you need me there, I will be there.
Well, after you finish your neighborhood cleanup and you shower off a little bit because it is going to be 100+ degrees outside, I suggest that you go down to Gift on Saturday. They have a Black business vendor fair. Go down there, purchase some items, enjoy yourself. When I say it was packed the last time I went in there, I mean, it was floors of packness. Like I went upstairs, I went downstairs, I was in the parking lot, and I'm like, yo, I parked on the street of Prospect and walked down to it. This is an opportunity for you to go out and support that initiative because they do provide support to those that wish to be business owners on the east side of Truce. And that is a good space for you all to see Kevon Graves after he's finished that neighborhood cleanup, or you can go and grab some gloves and some trash bags and pull up, get that busted truck that you got over there that's been sitting in the yard, start that sucker up because that's what I need to do in life, and drive it on down to go help move some of this trash out the way so that we can beautify the neighborhoods that we're in, because it is our responsibility to take care of our property or properties because everyone next to you is your neighbor. And if they can't handle it, then you pick it up. It ain't gonna hurt you to pick up the trash. As I told my students, they it was a school bus watching me pick up trash out the middle of the street. And then I hear all my neighbors saying, I was gonna do that. I'm sitting here like, you still can. I ain't stopping you. But I did. It was the efforts to make sure that we take responsibility for our community, for our space, because we respond with our ability. That is what responsibility is. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this out because we are at the 10-minute marker left in the show. For those of you that wish to be...
1 second. Just let everybody know that the neighborhood cleanup will start on 41st and Agnes. I know 8 o'clock sounds really early in the morning, but we don't want to be out there in the sun baking. So we'll start at 8 o'clock. We should be done around 11 o'clock, but we'll start on 41st and Agnes.
8 to 11. So that is 8 a.m. to 11, because we know as soon as it hits 12, the sun is right directly above you. Science people, here you go. It's right above you. That means that the temperature goes up, and we looking at 100+ degrees, and that's my birthday. So I'm telling you now, it's gonna be hot. So you're tuning in to the Lyne't Gray Show. Unfortunately, she's not able to tune in regularly as normal. She is actually over in Ghana. For those that have been watching, she actually there. Like, no, it wasn't a sugarcoat, it wasn't a fantasy. So she is there. There's a lot of different internet issues. So when she's able to be on, I suggest you catch it live while you have the chance. If you're interested in joining the Lyne't Gray Show, Kevon, if you want to come back on the second, you can. We can make that happen. Reach out to Lyne't Gray. What you say?
I said, sounds good to me.
Hey, look, I might pull you and Stacey on and say, hey, I need y'all to talk. Reach out to myself on Jorge Fuller for the People on Facebook as well as Instagram. Don't go to my Twitter because it's a waste of time on Twitter. You can say what you want to say. I ain't checking Twitter. So you can hit me up at Fuller for the People LLC. Or my LLC, or you can hit me up at fullerforthepeople@gmail.com. Let me know your interest so that we can make sure we provide quality content that not only educates, but inspires and provides knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Hit. That's what this show does. And so I'm going to let you close out, give them how to get a hold of you, what you stand for, why you are running, give them the whole spiel. Don't leave nothing out because this is the last 30 seconds. Okay, tell them who you are, Kevon.
I appreciate you again. I appreciate you for letting me come on. Just to reintroduce myself for the last time on the show. My name is Kevon Graves. I'm a candidate for 22nd District State Representative. Honestly, I'm here for you guys. It's our district, our vision. This is about you. This is not about me trying to be in office. This is about making sure that your kids, your nephews, your nieces, your your grandkids, your great grandkids have a better future than what you have. To make sure that the next generation has a better opportunity than what you have. By the way, we're gonna do this is by fixing our education system. That's number one. Number two, we're gonna make sure that we invest in some small businesses, like minority owned and women owned. We're gonna make sure that we have equal work for equal pay. We're gonna do small things like that, working on criminal justice system, so we get people that's in jail for marijuana out and get them hired in that field. Think small things like this that we can do is make sure that we can provide and strive as a community. So when you go to your vote on August 2nd, think about who's been in the community, think about who's been walking there, talking to everybody, and honestly think about what do we want next? Do we want the same thing we've been having, or do we want the next generation to actually take the bull by the horn and go for it? Choice is y'all.
And I'm gonna end out on this. I'm gonna shout out to my KCK folks because we've been talking about Missouri this whole night. The teachers over in KCK is out there and they're boycotting right now, and they're making sure negotiations for salary and compensation is happening correctly. So if you're like, what's going on in the area, that is what's happening over there. They're voicing their opinion and making sure that before school starts, they get appropriate compensation. And if you're an educator, you need to be supporting them. If you're an educator, you need to be encouraging them. And if you're a parent, a student, you need to be doing the same thing because they are the ones that come in, day out, and work with you and work to help you learn. And I say this because I know Mr. Gray's mother, who calls me. They say, "Can you help me?" It is imperative that each generation has someone that they can turn to, that they learn from, and they learn with each other. And I'm just going to give that little tidbit there. The last bit of Dos Minutos with Jorge. I'm going to tell you that next week I'm not going to be here. Don't question that. I already said that. But if you are interested in being on the Nate Gray show, August 2nd will be the next show that will probably be live. And we're going to work with Mr. Walker to make sure that everyone is able to go on. I want to make sure that you go out and vote. So, you know, you may not be available August 2nd, but you may be available after that because you're going to be sitting there celebrating as these numbers come in. But I want you all to know you can support this young man by going to his website, and I put it in the chat. It is votekevongraves.com. That is VOTEKEVONGRAVES.com. Go to his donate button. It goes to his Act Blue. You can do as low as $1 to help this young man out. If 100 people did $1, that is one ream of paper and print out of at least 500 flyers. That is what you are doing with that $1 if we get 100 people to support. Encourage yourself. Know that you can vote. Know that you have that autonomy. And I hope that you gained something tonight. And I hope it was just a little bit of knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Y'all have a good evening, and hashtag Fuller for the people.